Well, I've done it. The first milestone in every YouTuber's career is the 1,000 subscriber mark. According to YouTube, I'm able to offer paid content now. So, the first thing I want to ask you... Oh, my hair look kind of shitty. Oh, well. Too lazy to go comb it. The first thing I want to ask you is, would you pay for a fucking video? I mean, I don't know. I've never done anything like that before. I charge for my pictures. I don't know. Is there content you would pay like $1, $1 to watch? You know? And if so, what would that content be? Or do you think I should just remain the free, with the ads and all of that shit that, for the way I get my little beer money or income from this channel now? Just curious, because I don't even know if I should bother with it or not. It could be... I don't want to bother with it if you guys aren't going to fucking be interested in helping me grow the channel on a financial basis. So just let me know if that's something you're interested in. Just put it in the comments. So today I want to discuss, you're getting this video as kind of a second motherfucking feedback. I want to discuss some goals I had. I went to the gym yesterday, and I don't have any strength gains. I pretty much did my normal amount of reps, and I did notice some physical differences particularly when I was doing hammer curls. I could see like the fibers and shit and veins and all of that in my arms. Like, it looked like some goddamn fucking seriously disturbing bodybuilder shit when it popped out. And I was like, that means, and I know what that means. It means I don't have a lot of body fat in my arms at all. If only I could do that with like my abs. But I don't think that's going to be in my future. Who knows? I'm trying. I don't know. Let's see what happens when I get to 180. If it's looking like it's still shitty at 180, I don't know. Which, by the way, I'm in the middle of I had 200 calories of fat today. This morning I put some heavy cream in my coffee, and that's all I'm doing today. The rest of the day, I'll either be drinking tea without anything in it, other than maybe some artificial sweetener if I need to. And that's it. And tomorrow I'll resume keto, normal eating. But I'm just trying to, I ate plenty yesterday. I probably had almost 2,000 calories of keto yesterday. So I'm starting to think more about, is it possible to build muscle on a ketogenic diet? I know that there is a bodybuilder out there that's been doing it for 14 years, and that there's a keto chick out there that's been doing all of that shit. But is it realistic? Is it too difficult? Because most bodybuilding shit that I've come across, they want to carb you to fuck up when you're bulking and low carb when you're cutting. And that's it. That's the cycle. You pound the goddamn calories, get into your calorie surplus. You got dirty bulking, which is bulking with whatever the fuck you can stuff in your face along with the proper amount of protein. They're all doing some form of fucking supplementation. Is that truly necessary? These are all questions I have yet to answer in my research or in my personal experimentation. I'm not quite ready to start bulking yet. When I get down, my goal is to cut down to a nice lean level. I don't know how lean I want to get if I want to maintain some of my body fat, because I do like fasting. If you don't have a lot of body fat, you can't fast for very long. And, there's other reasons for fasting. There's the mental benefits. There's the health benefits. There's the life expectancy benefits when you're continually living in a calorie deficit. These are proven things, that are out there, and I don't really want to give them up by getting my body fat down to ab level and being, worried about hitting the wall and start cannibalizing my own body for energy, which is what starvation is. That's the difference between fucking fasting and starvation, is whether or not you have the body fat to sustain not eating. So, leaving that aside, I read this article on www.bodyfuckinbuilding.com. Now, a disclaimer is a lot of these bodybuilding sites and articles I take with a little bit of a grain of salt. The reason for that being, to me, a red flag is if they're selling something. If they're selling you on a supplement or on this, that, or the other, you don't know if they're doing it because they really believe that you need it, or if they are getting paid to pimp out that supplement. Usually it's they're getting paid to pimp it out. I don't know that, one way or another about bodybuilding.com, but I do kind of agree with the article, and it's a pretty detailed article. I'm going to show you some of it right here. It's basically, it goes over whether or not you need carbs, and it tells you that traditionally you should use carbs. What I overall get out of it is you can build muscle. To summarize, you can build muscle on a ketogenic diet. It's a little bit slower, and if you're not keto adapted, which is where you do your 6 weeks and you get completely fucking into fat burning mode, if you're not keto adaptive, you're going to feel like shit, you're going to lose some reps, you're going to lose some endurance, but as you get adapted, that goes away. And, there's a reason why I only store a little bit of fucking carbs. It's for explosive energy. You got to be able to really pound out that explosive energy sometimes, and that's what mainly our carb storage is there for. But endurance energy works really well with keto. So what I got out of these articles is you can build strength. You're not going to build as much size because you're mainly going to be glycogen depleted, which physically reduces the size of your muscles. I don't know if you ever noticed, but when you carb up and you go in and you pump, you get pretty pumped. Your muscles inflate pretty well because they're filled with glycogen, they're filled with water, and, they're filled with the lean mass. You put all of that together and you got a slightly more aesthetically pleasing muscle. When you're fucking depleted of glycogen, your muscles look really small. They're still just as strong as they were before. You still have the tissue there, but it's just not filled with the glucose, the glycogen and the water that's retained with that. So that, these are my research theories. I am not a bodybuilder. I do not profess to know all of the exercises necessary, how to make your muscles grow. I'm learning these things as I go. And I'm kind of just sharing what I'm learning. And maybe someone out there, because I know I do have a few bodybuilders watching me, what have you done in the realm of keto bodybuilding? Because I don't want to go back to the addiction of carbs. To that end, I went through more than one article. Another website I actually have read quite a bit of articles from is ruled.me, www.ruled.me. By the way, I'm not getting anything from pimping these fuckers out, but it'd be nice maybe they watch some of my shit and pimp me out a little, but who knows? They probably aren't even aware of my ass. So ruled.me, they now you may see this, you need carbs to build muscle. It's just it's telling you the traditional stuff, and then it's telling you the carb up stuff. And go through and read these articles. Myth busting, training on a keto diet. There are 3 ketogenic diets, and this is all in relation, it goes a little far in saying that you can't do cyclical ketogenic diet if you're not bodybuilding. You shouldn't do targeted ketogenic diet. Now, what a targeted ketogenic diet is when you carb up right about 50 grams of carbs right about the time you exercise. And that sounds like pretty good for somebody that's going to the gym 3-4 times a week. You could have a little bit more carbs in your life and supposedly have minimal impact because you're using the energy right away to build muscle. I don't want to really explore that because I don't go to the gym enough. I only go once a week usually, and sometimes I just skip the whole fucking week altogether. But I do know that as I get closer to my lean goal, that I am going to increase my strength training and resistance training, and maybe throw in some, walking and stuff like that. I'm not going to be on the treadmill. I hate the treadmill. Treadmill is bullshit. So, I'm sorry to say, go out and experience nature. Go for a walk through your town, your city, your downtown. Go to the park. Go to fucking woods. And, when you go out there and you do fucking 5-6 miles of just hiking, I do it carrying gear, which makes it even more exercisey. Trust me, you're getting your workout there. You don't, unless you're training to run a marathon, which I argue still shouldn't be done on a treadmill. You should take your ass out and run on real terrain where you have no control over the terrain and you have to fucking climb that fucking hill and go up and down and all that shit. But anyways, that's not me. I'm not going to run. Unless you're seriously training, stay off the goddamn treadmill. But I am going to try and build some muscle at some point, not just from, an aesthetics and strength and physical appearance standpoint, but also as an experimental thing. For me, I want to know these things. I kind of want to know if I can build muscle without carbs. And there's evidence that it says it's possible, but it is such a minute amount of evidence. I mean, there's not a lot of people doing this keto bodybuilding. Very few, it seems. There's not a lot of, most of them are on the same old bro science, carbs, and, you build your fucking muscle and fat. They're both agreeing that you have to be in a caloric surplus to build muscle, but I don't know. I believe that we have enough carbs in our system through gluconeogenesis. It's when you consume protein and your body converts pretty much just what you need in carbs to survive from protein. That's why you can't survive without protein. You ever notice that? If you don't eat protein at all, you'll probably fucking die or have severe health issues. It's something them vegans need to keep in mind. You better eat more nuts. But carbs you can live without. You can survive probably your whole life with very little carbs. I wouldn't say no carbs, but 30 to 50 grams a day, you could probably live the rest of your life on. Easily. Protein, not so much. Fat, you need too. Because there's hormones and things in there that your body's mostly made up of fat. Your brain is made with fat and cholesterol and all kinds of other shit. So you can't live without fat. Can't live without fat. Can't live without protein. Can live without carbs. I'm not a great fucking scientist, but that sounds like a pretty profound fact. We'll see. But you can't live without the micronutrients. You need some of those. How much? Who the fuck knows? You're going to get told so many different things by so many different people on how much vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A, and it's based on what? I don't know, because I lived this long with minimal health impact, other than getting fat, of course, on junk processed foods that were not rich in nutrition. So I don't know how much we need. I do know we store it. When you consume nutrition, when you consume micronutrients, your body stores that shit, and that's how you're able to fast. That's how we're designed. We're designed to store what we need. You'll see that there are long 40-day fasts. They had one guy that did a 300 fucking day fast. He was very obese. Where's he getting the nutrition from? His own body tissues, his fat, his adipose tissue. There are storage mechanisms so that we can survive through times of famine. So when someone's telling me I have to hit this specific fucking amount of vitamins every goddamn day, I have to get in this certain fucking range every day, yet I know from my fasting research I can go days without eating with minimal impact. 72 hours before you have to start worrying about catabolizing your own muscle. 72 hours of fasting, and you ain't got to worry about it. You're going to lose lean body mass over a longer period of fasting, like 30 days, 40 days of water fasting. Now, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that pussy-ass juice shit. I'm talking about some water, and probably a lot of free time, because you're not going to have a lot of energy when you're fasting that long. Unless you got a lot of fat. But even still, you're going to lose muscle if you fast that long. You can build it back over time. The best case scenario, if you're a professional bodybuilder, that I've heard is you could build 2 pounds of muscle a month. Which is, you see them big bulky motherfuckers running around, that are supposedly natural and not using steroids. That takes years to make. Years. We're talking 3 days a week in the gym, strength training for years to build that kind of physique. I don't know about you, but I ain't got that fucking amount of time. So overall, I would recommend these articles right here if you're interested in building muscle on a ketogenic diet. I do plan on doing some self-experimentation further on down the line in this realm, but that's how I've been spending my past couple days looking into, what can we do with this diet? How will we function under different circumstances, under different goals on a ketogenic diet with intermittent fasting? Fasting is going nowhere for me. I want to keep it in, I'm going to fast the rest of my life. That's a lifestyle change that I've decided on because I believe it is integral to my well-being. I believe it helps me financially to not eat all the time, especially when I have to eat whole, non-processed fucking foods to survive, to not get fat. I need to eat the majority of my diet like that, barring my 2 carb ups a month where I do whatever the fuck I want to do. Most of the time, I'm eating eggs, salad, fucking meats. Not always organic, because, quite frankly, organic's fucking expensive. So I realize I'm probably not doing my health a whole lot of service when I eat these, non-organic, grain-fed fucking animal fucking proteins and fats. I realize I'm increasing my chances of inflammation, my chances of food poisoning in there as well. But you can sit here and preach to me all day. There are contaminants in vegetables. The soil they grow them in. That is what determines the nutrition. And I'm hearing things like they're recycling our own sewage for fertilizer. Filtering the shit out of your shit and putting it on on those vegetables, and that those vegetables, as a result, have less nutrients than they did just 40 or 50 years ago. You have to eat pretty much 2 to 3 times as much vegetables to get your nutrition now than you did 30 to 50 years ago, somewhere in there. I've read a couple articles on this, and I've also looked at the fucking labels on the goddamn salads, and I'm telling you, the motherfucking things don't have nutrition that they should have. So, vegan as you may be, you still, unless you're going and growing your own shit and putting the right shit in your soil and checking all of that, I just realized my fucking video ran out. So that means you've been watching me from the little video camera here. Sorry, but my fucking... Hold on. Alright. I need to explain really quick why I just forced you to look at me through this camera right here while I stared at the other camera. Because for some reason my DSLR decides 20 minutes is enough, and then it cuts off the video. And it doesn't give me any noise or anything to let me know that that's happening. So that's what just fucking happened there. So yes, as healthy as you think you may be doing by going and buying all these vegetables in your supermarket, unless you're going to the farmer's market, unless you're growing your own shit, unless you're familiar with a farmer on a personal level, chances are your vegetables aren't as nutritious as you think they are. That being said, you can always do what the fat, sick, and vegan guy is doing, and that is fucking take your vegetables in large quantities and juice them to get the same nutrition that you should be getting out of a single serving of the shit. So now I want to get to some of your comments as part of a kind of a reward. I wanted to talk about. I was trying to build, I'm going to eventually try to build muscle once I get down to my goal, and I'm starting to look into it a little bit and do some reading. So if you guys know of any fucking resources, that especially you bodybuilder ketos that may be watching me, let me know. Do you have good results when you keto and bodybuild? Do you build strength? Do you get more reps? Do you get, a loss of inches around your waist and a gain around your arms? Stuff like that. So, all right. Comment time. Joseph Messer writes, FYI, I was watching this lecture on low carb, high fat by Dr. Volek, and he was able to confirm through scientific research experiments that it is possible to simultaneously gain muscle mass while in a ketogenic fat burning state. That's why this diet is so freaking awesome. I weighed 240 on my 34th birthday last July, started with intermittent fasting just like you before I even heard of keto. Heck, you might have been the one who I first heard about keto from. Anyways, I'm now 199, lost half the weight with fasting, the other half with keto. Now doing both at the same time to get to my goal of 185. Thanks for sharing your journey Thanks for sharing your fucking journey and helping motivated. Okay, so I just kind of went over this, obviously. This guy's pretty much done what I am, almost the same fucking thing exactly that I'm doing. He's got a lot further than me. He got to 185. I got to 189. It's 4 pounds, but who knows? He's probably working out a lot too. I don't know. Maybe that's my, kryptonite. That's why I keep plateauing so often, is I don't work out enough. I don't want to work out enough. I know working out, without a doubt, accelerates your results. It definitely makes you get to your goals faster. It does. You're burning energy. It's thermodynamics and shit. You're burning more calories. You're going to get there a lot quicker than somebody that's sitting on their ass. My point has always been, You don't have to. What's the hurry? You'll get there. Take your time. Do it at your own pace. You don't want to pound the fuckmaster 7 times a week? Don't pound the fuckmaster 7 times a week. You don't want to go to the gym at all? You don't fucking have to. You really don't. I mean, you should. You should at least once a week just to keep your muscle mass. But if you don't give a fuck about losing muscle and you just want the fat gone, you don't even have to go once a week. It's diet and manipulating your hormones and intermittent fasting. You do these things, you will lose weight. And you don't have to fucking kill yourself to do it. Just takes longer. The less exercise you do when intermittent fasting, and if you're doing keto on top of that, the less exercise you do just means it's going to take longer to get to the same place that maybe somebody else who's going to the gym on a regular basis, doing shit tons of cardio and resistance training. That's the factor. That's where exercise falls into the fucking equation. How quickly will you fucking get to your goal? How quick? It's that simple. All right. This next comment, Eric Vape. Is that vape or vapal? I can't tell because of this little fucking weird line shit that's going on right there. Oh wait, the little thing he popped up. Eric Vape. All right. I don't know what that weird line is. I'm a new subscriber and I really like your videos. I am very obese. 5'11". I'm 6 foot. That's close to my height. 490 pounds. I started IF about 19 days ago. 17-hour fast, 7-hour eating window. Thinking of going to 20-hour fasts because it's going real great so far and I'm already dropping the pounds with low carb, 60 grams diet. And I assume that's what the 60 is. 60 grams. Wondered if you could do a vid of food you eat and a typical day of food for you. They think it might help newbies like myself that are trying to stay on track. Great vid and thanks. I do plan on doing days worth of eating video. You see them all the time out there on YouTube. All the fitness guys and all the nutrition guys, they do this day of eating, and then you got we're going to the fucking grocery store videos, and I've thought of doing that too, but I usually get so angry when I'm in the fucking grocery store that I kind of don't want to make a film of it. First of all, good job on the fasting. And I would say starting out, especially that heavy, fasting, is going to get you a good chunk of the way. So don't fret too much on exactly the foods you're eating. Yes, lowering the carbs will increase your results and decrease your cravings and hunger. If hunger and cravings are an issue, low carb, high fat is the way to go. So that being said, you can get there either way. It's a question of, do you have the willpower to survive the hunger and cravings? I willpowered my way pretty goddamn far, but once I plateaued and the 24-hour fasts weren't cutting it anymore, and even the 36s weren't doing a whole hell of a lot, to where I had to do 72s to make forward progress. When I started getting to that realm, my hunger and cravings began to go up. They began to skyrocket. And that's why I jumped on this fucking keto bandwagon, is to cure myself of the hunger and cravings. And it worked flawlessly. And then as I researched further, I realized just how hard the processed food and the sugars and the carbs, how much it interferes with your weight loss. It is completely the opposite of what you should do when trying to lose weight. Carbs are not the path to weight loss. Carbs are the opposite. Carbs are energy that your body likes to put in your little short-term fucking storage. 2,000 calories is all you can store of it. After you hit your 2,000 calories of glycogen storage, it spills over into your fat. So all you motherfuckers in like, oh, you gotta eat low fat, and then you go and you eat the shit out of carbs, your body is just turning those carbs into the very thing that you're trying to avoid, because some genius somewhere said, if you eat fat, it must make you fat, so we can't eat fat. No. Fat does not make you fat. Carbs make you fat. To that being said, I'll go for a little quick, rough outline of what I eat. Typically, when I break my 16, when I'm doing it, 16 and 8s is what I shoot for every day. Sometimes I go to 18 to 20, but overall I shoot for 16 and 8. After my 16 hours of fasting, which I usually begin after dinner the day before, usually around 6, and then I start around 10 the next day. Other times I wait till damn near dinner to eat again. But typically what I do is I get up, and the only thing I do in the morning, after my fast is over, I will use heavy cream, 30 milliliters. I have a food scale. Go buy you a fucking digital food scale. They're like $15 in Walmart. I put my coffee cup, I zero it out, 30 milliliters of heavy cream per cup of coffee. And then I put in my new stevia to sweeten it, and next thing you know, I have a perfectly sweet, happy cup of coffee. You don't have to do that. But, if you want to keep your fast going, that's all you got to do is not do that. You got to you can switch it up to, just drinking black coffee. And I did for a long time in my fasts, did black coffee. But, I found that I was being a little unnecessary with that now that I'm low carbing. It's not necessarily 100% needed to do long fasts if you don't spike your insulin at all in the morning. And just having some heavy cream in your coffee and fat is not going to spike your insulin. It's, you're going to start burning that fat for your energy. And you may even store some of it. I don't know exactly how that works with the fatty acids when you consume fat after not eating anything for a long time. I assume your body just switches over to using that instead of using your fat for energy. But, I don't know. I'm not a biochemist. I read a lot of articles. I listen to a lot of science lectures. But at the end of the day, when it comes really down to the nitty-gritty of biochemistry, there are people far more qualified than me that, know the science in and out. I just get the ideas of what I need to do from those lectures. I don't necessarily retain all the enzymes and all the little fucking diagrams and shit. That doesn't stick with me very long. So I get up, I have my coffee with cream. Then I go to probably around 2 or 3 o'clock. I'll spike my insulin. I'll have my first carb of the day. Sometimes it's a protein bar, processed foods, oh shit. But it works out to 9 grams net carbs. So I have one of those, some mozzarella string cheese, or some nuts of some kind. Sometimes I fix myself some pizza toppings. Lately I've been doing it on pop cakes occasionally. But what I used to do when I first started out is I would just put pizza toppings on a plate, microwave that shit, and eat it with a fork. And it tastes pretty much as good. It's just, got no crust. Then around dinner, it was either 80% ground beef mixed with salad. I always had some kind of salad for dinner, usually. Green leafy spinach. I try and make sure I buy salad with spinach in it because I do want to make sure I'm getting potassium. So, yeah, dinner usually is where I get the majority of my protein. Sometimes we do eggs and sausage or eggs and bacon for dinner along with salad. One of my other go-tos is ground beef, 80% lean. I don't go organic. I should. I don't feel I'm getting the best quality meat, but prices are prices. So I'll have that, and I'll mix some cheese in with it, and I got some spices I put in, and then I drench my salad in that. Just dump the shit with butter. Grass-fed, I use the grass-fed butter. And I pour that along in with my salad and mix it around, and it's like hamburger helper with salad. So I've done that. Occasionally I have tuna mixed with some mayonnaise, because mayonnaise is pretty much fat. Another thing is chicken wings. Very calorically dense, fatty fucking chicken. My girlfriend likes to make a lot of chicken breasts, and I realize that's kind of skewing my protein numbers a bit because there's not a lot of fat in chicken breast. But I definitely offset that by my occasional chicken wing feast. So pretty much eggs, beef, chicken, tuna fish, occasionally shrimp, but shrimp's expensive as fuck. Fish occasionally. I haven't really done too much fish. I should do more, but I just haven't. And then at the end of the day, sometimes I'll make a second pot of coffee, have some more heavy cream later in my day, and then that's it. I'm usually stuffed by that. That's my food. If I do a snack, I'll do pork rinds. Sometimes I'll use a little bit of French onion dip with that. Sometimes I do some kind of cream cheese concoction, or high-fat Greek yogurt, which is, you can look at the label. If it's 9 grams per cup, you got the right shit. 9 grams of carbs per cup. Anything else, and you're having too many carbs in that. And that's if you're lactose tolerant. I'm a little lactose intolerant, and I still eat the shit, but it tends to send me to the bowl. And that's pretty much a typical day's eating for me, And that's when I eat. I don't always eat. Sometimes I'll do a day where I just do the heavy cream in my coffee in the morning, and then I don't eat the rest of the day. Today's one of those days. I won't eat till tomorrow, And I'll drink tea with some artificial sweetener in it probably a little later. I'm currently not hungry at all, having done that. And that's my goal, is to be able to get through the fast, be in a deficit, and get some of the benefits of fasting without hunger and cravings. That's what my goal with keto was. All right, next comment comes from DanWee317. Hey, Scott, it is really hard intermittent fasting on this diet. Do you recommend continuing fasting? Thanks in advance, sir. He's referring to the keto diet. It should be easier, to be honest with you. If you're having a difficult time fasting on a ketogenic diet, it's probably because you're not keto adapted. You need to do the 6 weeks on the diet. If you can't fast at first on this diet, I recommend doing 6 weeks, eating normally on the ketogenic diet. Test your urine to make sure you're pissing ketones. After 6 weeks, then start with 16-hour fast. If you can do it during, about 4 weeks in, start working your 16-hour fast, 8-hour eating window in there. Do that. But the diet should be the priority, because that gives you the enzymes necessary and reduces your hunger and cravings. Once your hunger and cravings are gone, 24 to 36-hour fasts should be easy as fuck. So just make sure you take your time, work your way in. Everyone's different. There might be a reason why you're having trouble fasting. You might have a lot of metabolic damage, and some people still retain their hunger and cravings even on a ketogenic diet, especially if they're falling into a diabetic slight type of range. They will still feel the hunger and cravings. My girlfriend still craves and has hunger issues. She'll start snacking and not stop. I've seen it happen. And I've commented to her about it, and I believe it is her blood sugar issues that are driving that. I think as her blood sugar improves, her hunger and cravings are. So if you are severely fucked up when it comes to blood sugar and you're pretty much completely clogged up from a fat perspective, which we're going to get to in a minute on another really good article that I found was very, very enlightening and that everybody should read. Thanks to one of you. We'll get to you in a minute. But other than that, I would say take your time, get adapted first to the ketogenic diet. Once you feel your hunger and satiety levels are good, work in the 16 and 8. Work in, see, my girlfriend was only doing 16 and 8s for most of the fasting that she did with me. As far as I know, I think she could have been eating breakfast during that too. After she got on keto, she was able to cut out lunch. She has a high-stress job too, which was amazing. So she's right now, because she's really interested in blood sugar control, and she's had amazing numbers at the end of her workday by skipping lunch. So she's doing 20 to 24-hour fasts every day and showing amazing blood sugar numbers for her. Normal for you and me, 80s. She's getting in the 80s in her blood sugar, which was unheard of before she started with keto and fasting. And she's physically active in her job, so she moves around a lot. She's on her feet pretty much the whole time. So that's my advice with that. Next comment. Benjamin Witherman, or Worthman. Sorry if I butcher your fucking names. Hey dude, I don't know if you know that self-experiment by now, but Sam Felton did something really cool. He made 3 challenges that all lasted 21 days, and all he ate was 5,000 plus calories per day. The challenges were either based on eating fat, carbs, or vegan. He explained in detail what he ate, what kind of exercise he did, or he does every day, and why he did not gain any fat at all when eating mainly fat. He did gain weight while doing it with no fat. He tracked the measurements and shit. However, you can find it here at live.smashthefat.com, why I didn't get fat. And I, of course, have that article right here. And basically, the article goes through a pretty nice, detailed, fairly scientific approach to and it's a self-experiment that he did. It's pretty much an experiment of one, kind of like what I do, where he consumed 5,000 calories of fat, and he really was strict. He was following a strict ketogenic diet. It seemed kind of limited in my view, his diet. I mean, he starts out with coconut oil, salmon, green beans, and eggs. Eggs are good. You can get pretty far just eating eggs. He had walnuts as a snack, coconut oil, green beans, mackerel. There's a whole lot of green beans. I'm wondering why he chose green beans, because, there's some other green leafy vegetables that give you a more diverse amount. If one of you guys knows what the advantage of just eating green beans may be, because I really haven't studied optimal nutrition. I just do what I think is going to give me a good shit. I don't really do optimal nutrition. I just do what I think is going to give me kind of a good coverage of micronutrients since I started doing keto. Before doing keto, I really didn't give a fuck. I ate what I liked, and that's it. And was fine for it. Did a lot. Maybe didn't make a whole shit ton of progress in my strength training, but I didn't do a lot of strength training to do that. But I did maintain a lot of muscle mass. I did lose some muscle during the process. But that was mainly due to lack of exercise, I believe, not lack of nutrition. So I'm curious about that. He goes over pecans. He's got coconut oil, green beans, beef, almonds. So basically fatty meats, a little bit of green vegetable, and some nuts and coconut oil and some healthy fats. So that's pretty, well-rounded and a pretty hefty amount of calories for the day. And, you kind of see he didn't really change. Now, the thing I'm noticing is at the beginning of this, motherfucker's already pretty lean. I mean, you got a little bit of ab action going on there. He's not exactly a fatty. He's a lean body type. So he might already be pre-positioned to not gain weight, regardless. Now, I know he's doing 2 other experiments. I haven't read those yet or looked into that as far as the vegan side of it, and how far he got. This is about where I left off here before I started making the video. I do realize there is 2 more experiments he's going to do, a vegan experiment and a carb experiment. So I look forward to seeing how he responds with his body type to the 5,000 calories. But I highly recommend reading this article. Just to give you a quick quote off of it, if you have eaten real food from when you were a child, you will probably, not definitely though, have no problem eating natural carbohydrates and still be able to use your body fat stores for energy since you haven't been biochemically damaged. However, if you have eaten quite a lot of sugary and refined carbs such as candy, sweets, poor quality bread and pasta, crisps, donuts, pastries, etc., then you may have damaged your biochemistry to such an extent that your body cannot access your fat stores for energy. Even if you are slim but eat these fake foods, you can still accumulate the biochemical, he likes to call it lime scale because he has this whole metaphorical version. Watch his video, look at his article to figure out what he's talking about with that. That can cause the aforementioned diseases and just have not had the symptoms of being overweight and obese. What he's saying there is very important. You may be skinny as fuck, but if that's what you're eating, you are still prone to diabetes, heart disease, cancer. You are not doing anything to decrease your risks in that department, and there are plenty of people that are skinny that get cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. Fit motherfuckers that go to the gym and run and fucking do all kinds of shit end up with heart disease, cancer, and diabetes as they age, and at an earlier than normal age for these things. If you're getting that shit in your 60s, you fucked up. Alright? If you're getting it in your 80s, okay. 80s, good enough, I think. But if you're getting in your 50s and 60s, it's because you were eating like shit. So, yeah, go to this site, livesmashthefat.com. I think it is a very scientifically realistic site that doesn't take anything for granted, it seems. It seems like he practices what he preaches, and that's what I have respect for. People that don't just try and pimp out their science, based on their agenda. They actually look at the facts, at the biochemistry, at how our bodies work before making broad sweeping statements. And that's what you should do too. Even you who disagree with me, look at the biochemistry. Tell me the biochemistry reason why something I'm saying is fucked up. And I'll listen. I'll look at it. You can see right here. You guys send me this shit. I'll look at it. This right here is like the metaphor that he was talking about, you got your fat coming in here, and his video kind of goes over this, so I take no credit for this at all. This is completely visit his shit. You got fat coming in here, carbs coming in here. The carbs fill up your carb stores. This is your glycogen over here in your muscles in your liver, and over here is your fat stores, and anything that fills up your glycogen spills over into fat. And it's real easy to fill this up. It's only 2,000 calories, And there were days where I was eating 3,000 because I was hungry all the fucking time. when I was high carb. All the time. Easily could down 3 grand. You know. And if you're trying to lose weight, you need to keep below this. That's why you need to be in a deficit so much, because you're trying to not refill this as quickly. But what he contends is when you do this damage with the processed foods and the refined carbs, and I tend to agree to a great degree, you know, with the exception that you can control this outside the realm if you have good willpower of keto, you know, or cutting your carbs out. You just increase your meal timing, you know, the time between meals. Will also have the same effect. But this gets clogged up, and you essentially don't get your energy out of your fat anymore. You get it directly from here in the form of carbs, and you have to eat more and more carbs. His video here, We're Not Losing Weight, right below, really good explanation of this flow chart here, and you know, I would agree. Now, where I disagree slightly with this theory, he has a real interesting take on his experiment. He says, essentially, when this isn't an issue, when you are not clogged up down here from all of the refined foods and all the refined carbs, that if you eat an excessive amount of fat, your body will only take what it needs and dump the rest. As in, it'll go in one end and you'll shit out the other. I think there's a little more to it than that, unless you're eating just fat. If you got protein coming in, you're converting some of that to glucose, you're getting some insulin response, you are going to store some shit. So unless you are completely fat fasting, no protein coming in, no carbs coming in, then I could see that. But his experiment goes without saying. He did consume 5,000 calories. He lost weight slightly, and he lost inches around his waist on a high-fat 5,000 calorie diet, which is fucking amazing. And I hope we learn more about why that is and why he didn't store all of that fat. So I want to thank you guys for subscribing. I, want to do more videos now. I'm trying to grow the channel to the point where I can afford to spend a lot of time doing this. So you can help me by liking, sharing, and subscribing, and commenting, and getting a dialogue going, and, and hopefully we can grow this and we can learn this shit together, because I'm not a fucking expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. Have a nice fucking day.